for joining us and sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. U.S. President Donald Trump on Tuesday has declined to say whether he supports or opposes a potential Israeli takeover of the entire Gaza Strip. This comes as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reportedly come out in favor of the idea of taking control of the entire enclave. When asked by reporters if President Trump would support such a plan, he said that it was going to be up to Israel. He added that his primary focus on feeding Gazans and said that Israel and Arab states would help with distribution and funding. Additionally, on being asked by a journalist whether he had seen the Hamas video of emaciated Israeli hostage Aviatar David being forced to dig his own grave, here's what Trump said.
I have, yeah. I think it's horrible. I think it's horrible. And I hope a lot of people do get to see it, as bad as it is, because I think it's a horrible.
Now we go back to our guest discussion with Madhav Nalapat. He's an editorial director at the Sunday Guardian. Thank you, Madhav Nalapat, for staying with us. Now, what are the implications of President Trump's ambiguous stance on this potential Israeli takeover of Gaza? What should we make of this?
Well, quite frankly, he has been very clear he wants Gaza to be some kind of a Riviera in that part of the world. I'm not sure how. It's not going to be easy, to put it very mildly, for that to happen. And even for Israel to occupy Gaza is frankly going to be a very difficult proposition. And I personally believe that it will be a proposition very costly in precious Israeli lives. I mean, one thing I agree with President Trump, it's a most this is a horrible video that was shown, and it revives memories of the Holocaust, the horrible wiping out of the Jewish people by the Nazis, led by Hitler. And frankly, this is why Israel believes it's in an existential conflict against Hamas. Any organization that shows this kind of that makes somebody do this, it's first of all the kind of malnourishment that the person is obviously suffering from, and secondly, digging his own grave brings back memories of 1930s and 1940s, early 1940s Germany, and that's why it's no wonder the Israelis are going full tilt at Hamas. I mean, they want at least the military wing to be completely destroyed before the Jewish people feel safe. And I'd like to say that Hamas, if you go by its printed literature, if you go by its the videos of its leaders, you will see that they want the destruction not only of the Jewish state, but of the entire Jewish people. They don't want the Jewish people on earth. Now, again, that goes back to the previous century and to the mentality that caused the Holocaust. Anyway, I mean, the Arab states have very correctly said of Hamas, they should relinquish power. The Arab states, most of them are very sensible. Many of them they're very moderate, and overall they are, they're a credit to the region. But I mean, as far as Hamas is concerned, it doesn't belong in any category of acceptable ruling systems or ruling parties. So I think that video illustrates very clearly why Benjamin Netanyahu believes it's an existential conflict and why he's going full tilt at Hamas. The only point is he should not do it in ways that basically put a lot of Israeli lives at risk. There aren't that many Jewish people in the world, and the few there are should be, as far as possible, protected, and their lives should be protected. So from that point of view, I don't think it's a practical proposition to occupy the whole of Gaza. I don't think so. But I mean, making it a Riviera, even less practical. But having said that, this kind of a video shows precisely why most Israelis now are supporting this war on Hamas, because they recognize the existential nature of the conflict. And again, I go back to what I said. Hamas is opposed to not only the state of Israel, but to the Jewish people itself. And
Thank you,
remember
Madam.
that? Remember that thought? It was there,
Madam
a
Nalapat,
century.
sorry, we are running out of time for this discussion. Please stay with us and thank you for sharing that. Now we'll go back to him.